Hello and welcome to this new video. In this video, we will see how to completely remove SQL Server from your machine, whether it is a Windows Server machine or a Windows 10 machine, or maybe a Windows 11 machine. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is open SQL Server Configuration Manager, go to SQL Server Services and stop any running services of SQL Server. For me, I have one single service running, so I'm just going to right click and stop. This service that I just stopped represents the default instance of SQL Server, which is called MS SQL Server. And if you have any other instances, you should stop them as well. There are many ways to remove SQL Server from your machine. You can use the installation media to perform the removal or uninstallation of SQL Server. So if you have the media mounted on your machine, you can run this command to uninstall SQL Server. And of course, this represents the instance you want to remove. If you have many instances to remove, you can add them all here. I don't have the installation media to perform the uninstallation this way, so what I can do is go to Control Panel, uninstall a program, and then search for SQL Server. The product that I have installed on my machine is SQL Server 2022. So if I right click on it and do uninstall/change, click yes, and select the type of operation you want to do. I'm not going to add or repair, I'm going to remove SQL Server, so click on remove. On this screen, you will be asked to select the instance or instances you want to remove. Well, you can do one instance at a time. So if you have many instances, you can pick one instance at a time. So for me, I have one instance, which is the default instance. Click next. Here it's going to ask you what features of this instance you want to remove or keep. I'm going to remove everything, which is for me is just the database engine. So select it. If you have other components that you want to remove, just select them. For me, I have only installed the database engine for this instance. Click next. This is a summary of what's going to be done. So the action is uninstall, and what's going to be uninstalled is the database engine of the default instance. Click remove to start removing. And now the removal process is in progress. Some errors may occur during the removal process. If you encounter any errors when uninstalling SQL Server, then you need to uninstall SQL Server components from the command line by their unique identifiers. And for this, you are going to need to use the following command: msi exec.exe space /x, and then you put the unique identifier of your component. This if you have errors during the installation. Let's hope that I don't get any error for me. So as you can see, I got no errors and all the components have been removed successfully. I should have closed this one before starting the removal, but that's fine. And now after uninstalling SQL Server, all I have installed on my machine is a few components that are not necessarily related to SQL Server, which is the ODBC driver for SQL, the native client for SQL as well, and OLDB driver for SQL. I do have SQL Server Management Studio still installed, which I can remove if I want to, but I'm not going to do that for the moment in this video. What you can do as well after uninstalling SQL Server is go to File Explorer, go to the C drive or whatever your SQL Server was installed on, Program Files, Microsoft SQL Server, and you can remove this folder if you want to. Another thing, another folder you can remove is this folder under Program Files x86, Microsoft, and Microsoft SQL Server, and you can remove this folder completely. Okay. Another folder is under C, Program Data, and this is a hidden folder. If you cannot see it, just go to View and Hidden Items and check this box. Program Data, Microsoft, and look for Microsoft SQL Server. I don't have this folder right here, but if you have it, just delete it. Another folder is under your user profile. So C, users, my user profile, and then App Data, which is a hidden folder as well, App Data, local, Microsoft, and then Microsoft SQL Server. I don't have it here, maybe because I removed SQL Server, but if you have it, you can delete it as well. Another folder is under user, App Data, and roaming, Microsoft, and then look for Microsoft SQL Server. I do have it here, so I can delete it. So these are the 5 folders that you need to remove after uninstalling SQL Server. Now let's go to the registry. You still do have some work to do under the registry. So we have 4 keys to remove under the registry. The first one is under local machine, so H key, local machine, and then software, and then Microsoft, and then Microsoft SQL Server. Let's look for Microsoft if we have it. So yes, Microsoft SQL Server. And second one is a little bit below it with the name MS SQL Server. So these are the 2 keys that you need to remove, Microsoft SQL Server and MS SQL Server. And these are under HK local machine, software, and Microsoft. Now we get out of software and go into system under current control set and find Microsoft SQL Server under services. So if you find Microsoft SQL Server here, just delete it. So I need to go to the letter M and then try to find MS SQL Server. It looks like I don't have it. So yeah, I don't have it under this location. And the last registry key to remove is under HKey current user, software, Microsoft, and then try to find Microsoft SQL Server. It looks like I don't have it here, but if you find it, just go ahead and delete it. And the last thing you need to do is restart your machine. So just go ahead and restart your machine to finish the removal completely of SQL Server from your machine. I hope this video was helpful for you, and thank you for watching.